Wade was stunned. Last year, the team was a championship contender, but this year it had turned into a retirement home. Who else but the madman Pat Riley could pull off such a feat? At the start of the '06 season, he dismantled the team that had almost reached the finals the previous year and traded for a bunch of old, weak, and injured players. 37-year-old Gary Payton, who was about to retire, 34-year-old Alonzo Mourning, who had just had a kidney transplant, 31-year-old Jason Williams, and nearly 30-year-olds Antoine Walker and James Posey. He was betting everything on this group of veterans in the twilight of their careers who had an insatiable hunger for a championship. However, due to insufficient time for the new lineup to gel and the age-related issues, plus frequent injuries to Shaquille O'Neal, the Heat suffered consecutive losses early in the season. The team was old and broken, and morale hit rock bottom. Faced with such a predicament, Pat Riley, the mastermind behind it all, could no longer stay behind the scenes. He fired Stan Van Gundy and decided to take charge himself. As it turned out, this legendary coach, known for his cold-blooded and ruthless tactics, still had top-notch coaching skills. He made adjustments by having Walker come off the bench, giving Jason Williams more playmaking responsibilities, and having Haslam focus on open shots and rebounding. Wade and Shaq's roles in the half-court offense became more defined. Shaq's presence in the paint allowed Wade to break through defenses one-on-one from any angle. Coupled with Williams' passes and Walker's drives, Wade thrived, averaging an unstoppable 27.2 points, 6.7 assists, 5.7 rebounds, and 1.9 steals per game, leading the Heat to the second-best record in the East and back into the playoffs. Shaq also proved he was still an invincible force in the paint, averaging 20 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks per game with a league-best 60% shooting percentage. But Shaq knew he could no longer afford to be lazy and out of shape. To help the team go further, he had to rely on the young Wade and not become a burden. So he endured Pat Riley's grueling training regimen, reducing his weight to 145 kilograms, no longer the lazy, overweight Shaq, but transforming back into the formidable figure of 1994. In the playoffs, a slimmed-down Shaq reasserted his dominance, wreaking havoc on opponents in the paint. With Wade and O'Neal leading the charge, the Heat defeated the Bulls and the Nets. The Eastern Conference Finals brought a chance for revenge against the Detroit Pistons. History often repeats itself. Just as Michael Jordan finally defeated the Bad Boys of Detroit to start the Bulls dynasty, Wade was poised to make history repeat itself this year. Despite the Pistons being as tough and resilient as ever, with their ironclad defense becoming a league-wide nightmare, the transformed Heat were not the same team they had been before. Shaq, rejuvenated by training, dominated the paint, and a group of veteran players hungry for a championship controlled the game's pace, squeezing every last bit of effort from their tired bodies. This might be their closest chance at a championship in their careers. The Pistons had a fatal flaw. They struggled against players with strong mid-range shooting and exceptional penetration skills. In Jordan's era, it was Jordan himself. In this era, it was Wade. An uninjured Wade wreaked havoc on their defense with his slashing and shooting, leaving the Pistons helpless. They finally understood what Nets coach Lawrence Frank meant when he said, "I never want to hear Wade's name again." Wade averaged an astonishing 26.7 points, 5.2 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.8 steals, and 1.5 blocks per game, with a shooting percentage of 61.7%. He led the Heat to a 4-2 victory, avenging their previous losses and advancing to the 2006 NBA Finals. It was the Heat's first Finals appearance, and their opponent was the Dallas Mavericks. Shaq felt confident because he didn't like Nowitzki. He told his teammates, "I know the Mavs, they only shoot threes." A few days before the finals began, a Dallas reporter asked him a bizarre question.
Shaq, let's just say that a snake bit your mom right up here, right in the chest area. Would you be willing to suck the venom out to win the title?
No, but I will with your wife.
At that moment, Shaq was feeling quite smug. Little did he know that he'd be in for a rude awakening. After the first two games of the 2006 NBA Finals, his joke would no longer be funny.